Have you ever felt like you're caught in a game you didn't even agree to play? He pulls the strings, making you question yourself, your worth, your power. One moment, it feels like he's all in, and the next, he's distant, leaving you to pick up the pieces and wonder what went wrong. It's exhausting, isn't it? Feeling like you're giving so much while he takes control, playing by his rules. But what if I told you that the game isn't over? In fact, you're about to change the rules entirely. You're not here to be toyed with, to wait for his attention, or to feel like you're a choice. Number. This is your moment to step into your power, take back the control, and dominate the game. Relationships can feel like a battlefield sometimes, an endless push and pull of emotions, effort, and attention. When you're with someone who doesn't fully appreciate your value, it's easy to get caught up in his rhythm, dancing to his tune while losing sight of your own. But here's the truth that no one's told you yet. He doesn't hold the power. You do. You've had it all along. You're not here to chase or beg for his love. You're here to radiate the kind of strength and self-respect that makes love chase you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Let that sink in. He might think he's the one pulling the strings, but the truth is, the only power he has is the power you allow him to have. It's time to take that back. It's time to stop playing his game and start playing your own. One where you call the shots, where your worth isn't determined by his attention, but by your own unshakable belief in yourself. Imagine a chessboard. He's been moving his pieces, making calculated moves to keep you guessing, to keep you chasing. But here's what he doesn't realize. You're not a pawn. You're the queen, the most powerful piece on the board. And when you stop letting him dictate the game, when you realize that your power lies in the choices you make, the entire dynamic shifts. Suddenly, he's the one scrambling, trying to figure out what happened to the woman he thought he could control. You're not here to be played with, to be a second thought, or to question your place in his life. You're here to rise above his games, to step into your worth, and to show him and yourself that you're not someone to be toyed with. Enough waiting, enough doubting, enough giving your energy to someone who doesn't see your light. It's time to rise, to dominate the game, and to make him realize that the one thing he underestimated is the one thing he'll regret losing. Picture this. You're like a flame, steady and bright, burning with a quiet power that can't be ignored. He might have thought he could dim your light, make you question your spark. But here's the thing about flames. They grow stronger when they're fed the right fuel. And your fuel is your strength, your self-worth, your unshakable belief in the incredible woman you are. When you fully embrace that, when you stop letting him dictate how you feel or how you see yourself, your fire becomes untouchable. He can't control it. He can only watch it grow. Relationships aren't about playing games or proving your worth to someone who doesn't see it. They're about mutual respect, love, and effort. If he's not willing to give you those things, then why are you still letting him take up space in your heart, in your mind? It's time to step back, to reclaim your energy, and to redirect it toward the one person who truly deserves it, you. Because here's the truth, Queen. You don't need him to define your worth. Your worth is yours to claim, to own, and to live unapologetically. When you stop letting him toy with you, when you stop reacting to his every move, something amazing happens. The game changes. You go from being a player on his board to creating your own. You're no longer waiting for him to choose you because you've already chosen yourself. And when you do that, when you step into your power, something shifts in the way he sees you. Suddenly, You're not just someone he took for granted. You're the one thing he realizes he can't replace. Look in the mirror. Do you see it? The fire in your eyes, the strength in your heart, the unshakable woman who has survived so much and is still standing. That's your power. That's your truth. You're not broken. You're rising. You're not waiting. You're thriving. And when you step into that energy, when you stop letting him toy with your heart and start owning your worth, you become unstoppable. This isn't just about him. It's about you. It's about realizing that you're not here to settle for scraps of affection or to wonder if you're enough. You are enough. You've always been enough. And the moment you fully embrace that, the moment you stop letting him take up space in your heart without putting in the effort, is the moment everything changes. So, Queen, yes, Queen, because that's exactly who you are. A queen doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't chase love. She doesn't let anyone make her feel small. She stands tall, with her head held high, knowing her worth and never settling for less than she deserves. This is your moment, your time, your game. Don't let him toy with you any longer. Take back your power, dominate the game, and let him see, let him feel, the weight of losing the most extraordinary woman he could ever have known. If this message resonated with you, if it lit even a small spark of strength, hope, or clarity in your heart, don't keep it to yourself. We pour our hearts into creating content like this to remind you of the power you already hold, to help you rise above the pain, and to step into the life you deserve. Your growth, your story, and your transformation matter to us. So, if this spoke to you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every like and subscription is more than a gesture. It's a way to build this empowering community together, a space where you'll always feel supported and uplifted. You've got this, Queen, and we're here for you every step of the way. Number 1. You are the flame, not the moth. Have you ever stopped to wonder why you keep chasing him? Why you keep running towards someone who gives just enough to keep you hanging on, but never enough to truly stay? It feels like you're being pulled closer and burned all at the same time. That's what it's like to be the moth, drawn to his light, unable to resist, even when it hurts. But here's the truth you need to hear today. You're not the moth. You're the flame. You've always been the flame. And it's time to start living like it. Think about it. A flame doesn't chase, it attracts. It burns brightly, standing strong in its own power, while others are drawn to it. He may think he holds the power, that he's the one you can't resist. But what he doesn't realize is that the real power has been with you all along. You've just been giving it away. And it's time to stop. You weren't made to beg for attention, to wait for his validation, or to dim your light just so he'll notice you. You were made to shine, to radiate so brightly that anyone who doesn't see your value is blinded by what they lost. As Epictetus once said, you are a soul carrying a body. That means your power isn't in how he sees you or what he does. It's in you, your heart, your mind, your spirit. When you remember that, when you stop chasing and start owning your worth, you step out of the role of the moth and into the role of the flame. And let me tell you, queens, the moment you stop chasing him, everything changes. You go from being at his mercy to being untouchable. You become the woman he can't stop thinking about, not because you beg for his attention, but because your light is undeniable. Picture this, a lighthouse standing strong in the middle of a storm. The waves crash, the wind howls, but the lighthouse doesn't waver. It doesn't chase the ships lost at sea. It simply stands tall, It's light cutting through the darkness, guiding the way. That's what it means to be the flame. You don't move for him. You don't lower your standards to make him stay. You simply stand in your power, letting your light shine so brightly that he either rises to meet your level or fades into the distance where he belongs. Relationships are meant to be a balance of giving and receiving, of respect and effort. But when you're always chasing him, always trying to make him see your worth, you lose sight of that balance. You give all your power away, leaving yourself with nothing but empty hands and a heavy heart. But here's what you need to remember. You're not empty, and you're not powerless. The love you're looking for starts within you. The moment you decide to stop chasing, to stop being the moth, is the moment you reclaim your strength. This isn't about playing games or making him jealous. It's about remembering who you are. You're not here to revolve around his world. You're here to build your own. You're not here to be his second thought. You're here to be the prize he never thought he'd lose. And let's be real, when you start living as the flame, when you embrace your own worth and stop needing his attention to feel complete, you'll find that his games lose all their power over you. Look in the mirror. Do you see it? That fire in your eyes, the strength in your spirit? That's who you are. You're not broken. You're rising. You're not waiting. You're thriving. You're not chasing. You're glowing. You're the flame, and it's time to start living like it. Stop giving him the power to control your heart, your happiness, your light. Take it back. Take it all back, because it was always yours. So, queens, let this be the moment you decide to step into your power. The moment you stop chasing and start attracting. The moment you become the flame he can't forget. Say this affirmation out loud and write it in the comments below. I am the flame, not the moth. My light is my power, and I will never chase again. Write it down, own it, and let it guide you as you rise. If this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of the power you hold, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to create lessons that inspire, empower, and remind you of the queen you truly are. Let's rise together. Let's shine together. You've got this. Number 2. Love is not a tug of war. Let go of the rope. Have you ever felt like you're caught in a constant tug of war? He pulls, you pull back. He pushes, you stumble trying to hold on. It feels endless, exhausting, as if your entire world revolves around how hard you can fight to keep him close. But here's the truth that will set you free. Love isn't supposed to feel like a war. It's not a battle where you struggle just to hold your ground. It's not about proving your worth or pulling harder when he pulls away. It's time to loosen your grip. It's time to let go of the rope and see how much stronger you are without it. When you cling to someone who plays with your emotions, you lose sight of your own power. It's like trying to hold on to a kite in a storm. The harder you pull, the more it slips through your fingers. But imagine this. What if you let go of that rope and walked away from the storm? What if you stopped letting his actions dictate your emotions? By letting go, you take back control. You're no longer at his mercy. You're standing tall, unshaken, and completely free. As Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things beyond our control. The way he behaves, the way he acts, the way he makes you feel like you're never enough, those things are outside of your control. But your reaction, that's yours to own. When you stop reacting to his games and start focusing on yourself, the game changes. You're no longer fighting for space in his life because you've reclaimed all that energy and poured it into your own growth. Think about a bird trying to fly while carrying a heavy chain. The chain keeps it grounded, weighed down, unable to soar. That's what holding on to the rope feels like. Heavy, draining, and impossible to escape. But the moment you let it go, you free yourself to fly. You don't need to carry the weight of his games, his doubts, or his inability to see your worth. You were never meant to stay grounded by someone who doesn't lift you higher. You were made to rise, to spread your wings, and to soar. Love is not a battlefield where you have to fight to prove yourself. It's not about convincing him to choose you, to value you, to stay. If he doesn't see your worth, that's his loss, not your responsibility to fix. The moment you realize this, you take back all the power you unknowingly handed to him. You're not here to beg for love or struggle for scraps of affection. You're here to command the kind of respect and admiration that only comes from knowing your own value. Letting go of the rope doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing yourself over a struggle that's not worth your energy. It means realizing that love should feel like a partnership, not a competition. When you walk away from the tug-of-war, you show him something he never expected, that you don't need to fight for him, and that your worth isn't defined by his presence. That's when the game shifts. That's when he starts to see what he took for granted. Look in the mirror. The person staring back at you isn't broken, isn't weak, isn't defeated. She's powerful beyond measure, stronger than any storm, and braver than she's ever been before. You've held on long enough. Now it's time to release that rope and watch how everything changes. He thought you needed him to feel whole, but the truth is, you've always been whole. You don't need him to complete you. You're already enough, more than enough. This is your moment, Queen. Yes, Queen, because that's what you are. A queen doesn't waste her time on battles that don't matter. She doesn't cling to what weighs her down. She rises above, with grace, with power, and with unshakable confidence. Let go of the rope and step into the life you deserve. A life where you're not pulling for his attention, but radiating so much strength that the right kind of love can't help but find you. Say this with me. I am letting go of what doesn't serve me, and I am reclaiming my power. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and make it your truth. Claim your strength and let the world know that you're done with the games. If this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of the unstoppable power you hold, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here for you, creating lessons to help you rise, thrive, and take back control of your life. Together, we grow. Together, we shine. You've got this. Number 3. A queen commands, she doesn't beg. Have you ever asked yourself why you're the one waiting, hoping, and chasing? Why you're holding on to the scraps of his attention while he moves through life without a second thought? Maybe he made you feel like you needed to prove your worth, like love was something you had to beg for. But here's the truth. You were never meant to beg for anything. Not love, not respect, not attention. And the moment you realize this, everything changes. The game changes. Because a queen doesn't beg, she commands. She moves through life with grace, with strength, and with the quiet confidence that her value speaks louder than her words ever could. In relationships, it's easy to feel small when you're met with inconsistency or indifference. You start questioning your worth, trying to fix what isn't even broken, all in the hope of being seen, being chosen. But let me tell you something powerful. Love isn't about begging for a place in his life. Love is about two people who see each other, respect each other, and rise together. And if he's not meeting you there, Why are you lowering yourself to meet him where he's comfortable? Enough is enough. You don't need to shrink yourself to fit into his world. You're not here to blend in, you're here to stand out. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. What color are your thoughts right now? Are they painted with self-doubt, shaped by the way he's treated you? Or are they bold, vibrant, and alive with the unshakable truth of who you are? If you've been begging for his attention, it's time to stop. Begging drains your energy, your dignity, your power. A queen never begs because she doesn't have to. Her value is undeniable, and she knows that anyone who doesn't see it isn't worthy of her presence. Imagine a crown. A crown doesn't beg to be placed on someone's head. It's earned. It represents strength, resilience, and the right to reign. You are that crown. You are not here to ask for permission to shine. You're not here to convince him to love you. Your love, your energy, your presence is a privilege, not something to be taken lightly. When you step into this truth, you'll stop chasing what isn't meant for you and start attracting the kind of love that honors your worth. Think of the ocean. It's vast, powerful, and uncontainable. No one begs the ocean to move. It flows on its own terms, in its own time. That's the kind of energy you're stepping into. When you stop begging, when you let go of trying to prove your value to him, you become like the ocean, strong, magnetic, and impossible to ignore. And trust me, when he realizes that you're no longer at his mercy, the tide will turn. He'll feel the weight of what he lost, but by then, you'll have risen so far beyond his reach that his regret won't even matter. You might be thinking, but I loved him. I gave him everything. And maybe you did. But love isn't about giving everything to someone who doesn't value it. Love starts with you. How you love yourself, how you carry yourself, how you demand respect without ever having to say a word. When you embody this kind of love, you attract it. And queens, love that sees you, cherishes you, and respects you will never make you feel like you have to beg for it. Now, look in the mirror. Do you see her? The woman who's been through heartbreak, who's questioned herself, who's felt the sting of rejection, but is still standing. She's not broken. She's rising. She's a queen, and it's time she starts living like one. This is your moment to take back everything you gave away to someone who didn't see it. It's your moment to reclaim your power, your voice, your worth. You don't need him to validate you. You are already whole, already worthy, already enough. From this day forward, stop begging. Stop explaining. Stop waiting for him to wake up and realize what he's losing. Focus on yourself. Build a life so full, so beautiful, so radiant that you don't have time to notice his absence. Because here's the secret. When you rise, when you walk with confidence and purpose, you don't just dominate the game, you change it entirely. Say this to yourself: I am a queen, and I command respect. My worth speaks for itself. Write this affirmation in the comments, queens. Claim it as your truth, and let the world know you're done playing small. And if this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of the strength you've always had, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons like this, because you deserve nothing less than a community that empowers and uplifts you. Together, we rise. Together, we reign. You've got this, queens. Now go claim your throne. Number 4. Stop feeding his ego. Starve his control. Have you ever wondered why he keeps coming back? Why he's so good at keeping you on the edge, waiting, hoping, second-guessing yourself? It's not because you're not enough. It's because you've been feeding his ego every time you react, every time you chase, every time you let him dictate how you feel. His control isn't real power, it's borrowed power, and it only exists because you've allowed it. But what happens when you stop giving him that fuel? What happens when you take back the energy he's been thriving on? The entire game changes. You're no longer the player following his lead. You become the architect of your own story. You see, control in relationships often comes disguised as attention, charm, or those breadcrumb moments where he gives you just enough to keep you hooked. It's like feeding a fire, tossing in little pieces of wood, hoping the warmth will stay. But all you're really doing is burning through your own energy, your own sense of self, to keep him comfortable. And when you stop, when you choose to starve that fire instead of feeding it, he's left with nothing but the cold reality of losing the warmth he took for granted. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The truth is, his ability to control you only exists as long as you let his actions dictate your emotions. Every time you overthink his silence or rush to fix things when he pulls away, you're handing him the reins. But your heart doesn't belong in his hands. It belongs to you. And the moment you reclaim that truth, he loses the grip he thought he had on you. Picture a flower constantly bending toward the sun. It twists, stretches, and leans, desperate for the light. But here's the secret. The sun doesn't define the flower's worth. The flower's beauty, its strength, its roots, they exist regardless of whether the sun notices. You're that flower. You don't need to bend, twist, or break yourself to make him see your value. The moment you stand tall and let your light shine for yourself, you no longer depend on his approval to grow. And queens, yes, queens, that's where your power lies. Relationships should be a partnership, a mutual exchange of love, respect, and effort. But when he plays games, when he gives just enough to keep you guessing, he's not offering you love. He's keeping you in a cycle of self-doubt. Stop giving him the satisfaction of knowing he can impact your happiness. Instead, show him what true strength looks like. True strength is choosing silence over reaction, calm over chaos, and self-respect over the crumbs of attention he's been giving you. When you stop feeding his ego, he'll feel the difference. He'll notice the absence of your energy, your effort, your emotional investment. It will hit him like a storm, leaving him to wonder what happened to the control he thought he had. But here's the best part. By the time he realizes it, you'll have already outgrown the version of yourself that cared about his validation. He'll be left chasing the woman he underestimated, but you'll be too far ahead to look back. This isn't about playing games or trying to get revenge. It's about stepping into your power, taking control of your life, and refusing to let anyone else dictate your worth. Stop reacting to his moves. Stop explaining yourself to someone who's not listening. Stop handing over your power every time he tests your boundaries. The greatest statement you can make is to live so fully, so confidently, that his games become irrelevant. You're not here to be his emotional safety net or his backup plan. You're here to rise above his games, to show him and yourself that you're not someone to be toyed with. Enough waiting, enough doubting. Your worth isn't negotiable, and it's not tied to his actions. It's yours to own, to live, and to celebrate. Look in the mirror and remind yourself of this truth. You are not his to control. You are not his puppet, his fallback, or his source of validation. You are the prize. You are the light. And the moment you stop feeding his ego, the moment you let go of the need for his approval, is the moment your true power ignites. The fire he tried to dim will burn brighter than ever. This time, fueled by your self-respect and unshakable strength. Queens, it's time to take back what's yours. Say this affirmation with me. I starve his control by feeding my power. Write it in the comments below. Claim it. Own it. Let the world see that you're no longer playing by his rules. And if this message resonated with you, if it reminded you of the unstoppable woman you are, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to create content that lifts you up, inspires your growth, and helps you step into the life you deserve. Let's rise together, queens. You've got this. Number 5. Don't let his shadow eclipse your light. Have you ever noticed how easy it is for his shadow to creep into your life? One moment, you're shining brightly, feeling like you've found your path, and the next, his doubts, his indifference, his games start to dim your light. It feels like his presence overshadows everything, doesn't it? But here's the truth. His shadow only has power if you stand in its way. You're not here to be dimmed by anyone. You're here to shine so brightly that no shadow, no rejection, and no game can touch your light. In relationships, it's easy to give your energy away, to focus so much on him that you lose sight of yourself. But you were never meant to revolve around him. You are the sun, and your light is constant, powerful, and unwavering. When you stop letting his actions dictate your worth, you take back your radiance. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Let your thoughts be filled with your strength, your worth, your power, not his shadow. Imagine this. You're standing in a garden full of flowers, and a dark cloud looms overhead. That cloud might block the sun for a moment, but it can't stop the flowers from growing. That's you. His shadow might have made you doubt yourself, but your roots are still strong, and your bloom is inevitable. The moment you stop focusing on his cloud and start watering your own garden, everything begins to flourish. You're not here to be overshadowed or overlooked. You're here to own your light, to live with confidence and purpose. Stop waiting for him to step out of the way. Step around him, rise above him, and watch as your light fills every space he left in your life. This is your moment to break free from his shadow and stand in the full brilliance of who you are. Queens, your light is unstoppable. Write this affirmation in the comments. My light is my power, and no shadow can dim it. Let the world know you've reclaimed your radiance. And if this message sparked even a flicker of strength or hope in your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We work tirelessly to bring you these life-changing lessons because you deserve to live as the queen you are, powerful, radiant, and unshakable. Let's rise together. Number 6. Be the calm in his storm. Have you ever noticed how chaos has a way of drawing you in, making you feel like you're losing control? When he plays his games, creating storms of confusion, mixed signals and emotional highs and lows, it's easy to get caught in his whirlwind. But what if I told you the storm isn't where your power lies? Your power lies in being the calm at the center of it all, unshaken, unbothered, and completely in control. He may want you to react, to spiral, to prove your worth through chaos. But queens, the real strength is in your stillness. As Epictetus once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Let this truth guide you. When you refuse to get swept up in his storm, you take away his control. You shift the balance. He thrives on your reaction, your overthinking, your need to make sense of the mess he creates. But the moment you stop playing his game, you become the lighthouse in his chaos, standing tall, radiating light, and guiding yourself out of his storm. Imagine this: storms only rage when there's something to destroy, but a mountain stands firm, unmoved by the strongest winds or the loudest thunder. You are that mountain. His games, his confusion, his push and pull tactics are the storm. But they don't define you. They don't move you. They don't control the peace within you. When you choose calm over chaos, grace over reaction, you're not just surviving the storm, you're mastering it. Relationships aren't about chasing love through confusion. They're about finding clarity, respect, and mutual effort. If he's creating storms to keep you guessing, that's not love. It's control. And queens, you're not here to be controlled. You're here to rise, to shine, and to show that his chaos has no power over you. The calm you bring is your power, and it's also what he'll never be able to forget. This is your moment to reclaim your peace, your energy, your worth. Look in the mirror and see the unshakable warrior staring back at you. You're not broken. You're unbreakable. You're not a victim. You're a force of nature. He may try to pull you into his storm, but you're the calm he can't shake. Write this affirmation in the comments. I am the calm in the storm. His chaos has no power over me. Queens, let this be your promise to yourself. And if this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of your strength, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to create these life-changing lessons for you because you deserve to rise, thrive, and dominate the game. You've got this. Number 7. You are not his puppet. Cut the strings. Have you ever felt like you're being pulled in every direction, like he's the one controlling your emotions, your actions, even your peace of mind? It's as if every word, every move he makes determines how you feel. But here's the truth you need to hear. You are not his puppet. He doesn't hold the strings unless you let him. You were not made to dance to his tune or bend to his games. It's time to cut the strings and reclaim the power that's always been yours. Relationships should be a partnership, not a performance where one person pulls all the strings. If he's keeping you in a cycle of doubt, waiting, or chasing, it's because he's feeding off the control you've unknowingly handed over. But just like a puppet only moves when the strings are pulled, you have the power to stop moving, to stand still, to walk away. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Queens, it's time to be the master of yourself. Stop letting his actions dictate your worth. You are not a puppet, and he is not the master of your story. Think of a kite soaring high in the sky, seemingly free, but it's still bound by a string, held by the one on the ground. The moment that string is cut, the kite can truly fly, unrestricted and untethered. That's you. As long as you allow him to hold that string, you'll feel like you're flying on his terms. But the second you cut it, you become unstoppable, free to move toward the life and love you deserve, without limits. This isn't about anger or revenge. It's about rising above the games and reclaiming your dignity. You're not here to prove your worth to him. You're here to recognize your worth for yourself. And when you do, when you stop reacting to his manipulations, he'll feel the weight of your absence. He won't just notice the silence. You'll become the one thing he can't forget. Now, queens, look in the mirror and remind yourself of the woman staring back. She's not a puppet. She's the architect of her own victory. This is your moment to rise, to cut the strings, and to take back control. Say this affirmation with me. I am not his puppet. I hold the power. Write it in the comments, claim it, own it, and let the world know you're stepping into your strength. If this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of the unstoppable force within you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here, working tirelessly to bring you the lessons you need to reclaim your life and dominate the game with grace and power. Let's rise together. Your time is now. Number 8. The most magnetic energy is self-respect. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to radiate an energy so magnetic that it draws others in effortlessly? It's not about looks, charm, or even the perfect words. It's about something far deeper. That energy is self-respect, the quiet power that speaks louder than any plea or effort to win someone over. When you respect yourself fully, you send a message to the world, and more importantly to him, that your worth isn't up for debate. Self-respect is the energy that doesn't just attract, it transforms. Think of a lighthouse standing tall in the middle of a storm. It doesn't chase ships, it doesn't scream for attention. It simply shines, steady and unshaken, guiding everything around it. That's what self-respect is. When you know your worth, you don't have to prove it or beg for him to see it. You become a force of nature, calm, powerful, and undeniable. And here's the truth. When you stop chasing him and start respecting yourself, you turn the entire game around. As Epictetus said, respect yourself, and others will respect you. The moment you hold yourself to a higher standard, you stop tolerating his games and manipulation. You become unshakable, and that is where your true power lies. Relationships are not about convincing him of your worth. They're about mutual respect and love. If he doesn't see it, that's his failure, not yours. Your role isn't to wait or to adjust yourself to his whims. Your role is to live boldly, with the kind of self-respect that makes you untouchable. Picture a diamond buried in the dirt. Just because it's hidden doesn't mean it's lost its brilliance. That's you. If he failed to notice your value, it doesn't mean you've lost it. It means he lacked the vision to see it. Stop letting him dictate how you feel about yourself. Your value is not tied to his opinion. It's tied to the way you carry yourself, the boundaries you set, and the love you show yourself every single day. Queens, it's time to rise. It's time to reclaim your power. Respect yourself so deeply that he has no choice but to feel the distance when you no longer play his game. Look in the mirror and see the warrior staring back. You don't need him to complete you. You are already whole, already powerful, already enough. Let your silence, your strength, and your self-respect speak louder than anything else ever could. Say this with me. I radiate power because I respect myself. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it as your truth. If this message touched your heart and reminded you of your worth, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to create life-changing lessons just for you, to remind you of your strength and to help you rise above anything standing in your way. Let's rise together. You've got this.